In 1985, while America was dancing to Madonna and watching Back to the Future, Pizza Hut attempted something revolutionary, transforming pizza from cheap takeout into legitimate family dining. Those iconic red roof buildings were not just restaurants, they were a statement. Pizza deserved respect. It deserved real plates, stained glass lamps, and an actual waitress who refilled your soda. For a while, America agreed. This was not just about selling pizza, it was about elevating pizza from its humble origins into something worth dressing up for on a Friday night. The restaurant experience was meticulously designed to make middle-class families feel like they were having a proper night out without the intimidation of fine dining. Those red roof buildings became landmarks in suburban America. Inside, the atmosphere was carefully crafted, with dimmed lighting, Tiffany-style lamps hanging over wooden tables, and vinyl booths that somehow always felt clean. The iconic salad bar became a status symbol, an all-you-can-eat monument to American abundance, where ranch dressing flowed freely and bacon bits were treated like a vegetable. When you walked into a Pizza Hut, you were not just ordering food, you were entering an experience. Hosts greeted you at the door. Menus were handed out. You browsed actual pages of options while plastic cups of Pepsi arrived at your table. Pizza was no longer fast food, it was casual dining. The business model made perfect sense in the 1980s economy. American families were seeking affordable luxury after years of recession. Pizza Hut positioned itself precisely between McDonald's drive-through convenience and the formality of sit-down chains like Olive Garden. They occupied the perfect middle ground, special enough for birthdays but affordable enough for random Tuesday nights. And Pizza Hut knew exactly who they were marketing to: families with children, little league teams, after-church crowds, and budget-conscious couples. The entire operation was built around these demographics, from the giant jukeboxes that played sanitized pop hits to the game rooms with Ms. Pac-Man cabinets where kids could burn off energy while waiting for food. Even the pizzas themselves were designed for the dining experience, served on elevated metal stands, so they dominated the table like centerpieces. The pan pizza, with its thick golden brown crust, wasn't just a recipe. It was engineered to feel substantial enough to justify a restaurant visit rather than delivery. It didn't, because Pizza Hut wasn't built to survive the delivery revolution. The first signs of trouble appeared in the early 1990s when America's relationship with food began shifting toward convenience over experience. Suddenly, sitting in a restaurant for an hour seemed inefficient when you could have food brought directly to your door while you continued watching your VHS rental. Domino's had been laser-focused on delivery since its founding, but Pizza Hut had always treated delivery as secondary to the dine-in experience. Their entire infrastructure, from kitchen layout to staffing models, was built around serving customers inside those red roof buildings. Delivery was an afterthought, a concession to changing times rather than the core business. This fundamental difference in approach created an operational nightmare when delivery demand exploded. Pizza Hut restaurants were not designed as delivery hubs. The kitchens were too far from loading areas. Staff had to juggle dine-in and delivery customers simultaneously, creating bottlenecks during peak hours. Drivers had to navigate sprawling parking lots before even hitting the road. Meanwhile, Domino's streamlined delivery operations were running circles around them. Their stores were compact, efficiently designed boxes, focused entirely on getting pizzas into boxes and boxes into cars. Their 30 minutes or less guarantee was not just marketing, it was the natural result of a business model built exclusively around delivery speed. As the 1990s progressed, Pizza Hut found itself caught in a painful identity crisis. Each restaurant represented millions in real estate investment that was becoming increasingly irrelevant. Those charming dining rooms with their stained glass fixtures were transforming from assets to liabilities. Every square foot dedicated to customer seating was space that was not optimized for the delivery business that consumers now demanded. But the real problem was not just operational, it was cultural. Pizza Hut's entire corporate identity was built around being a restaurant chain. Their training, Their management structure, their marketing, everything reinforced the idea that they were in the dining business. Pivoting to primarily delivery meant admitting their core identity was becoming obsolete. The problem was not execution. The problem was identity. It looked like a restaurant chain, but it was a pizza company, and those two did not coexist when customers wanted convenience over atmosphere. This identity crisis manifested in increasingly confused business decisions. Through the 1990s and the early 2000s, Pizza Hut tried desperately to be both things at once: a traditional restaurant experience and a modern delivery company. The result was mediocrity on both fronts. Their delivery operations could not match the efficiency of Domino's or the emerging Papa John's, while their restaurant experience began suffering from cost-cutting measures designed to boost delivery profits. When you try to be two things at once, you often end up being neither. The physical restaurants themselves started showing their age. That charming 1980s decor began looking dated rather than nostalgic. The red roof concept, once revolutionary, became a relic of suburban sprawl. Families who had once seen Pizza Hut as a special night out were now saving their restaurant budgets for places with more perceived value, or simply ordering delivery from competitors who had perfected the art of convenience. Pizza Hut executives kept clinging to the idea that they were different, that their restaurant heritage gave them an advantage. But consumers increasingly saw pizza as a commodity, with convenience and price-driving decisions more than ambience. The emotional connection to the Pizza Hut dining experience was fading with each passing year. As traditional customers abandoned the dine-in experience, Pizza Hut attempted to lure them back with increasingly desperate menu innovations. The introduction of stuffed crust in 1995 was perhaps their most successful effort, a genuine innovation that briefly recaptured public imagination. But one menu innovation could not solve a fundamental business model problem. Their advertising reflected this confusion, alternating between nostalgia-driven campaigns that highlighted the restaurant experience and value-focused ads that competed directly with delivery specialists. The brand message became muddled, leaving consumers uncertain about what exactly Pizza Hut stood for anymore. And for a moment, it worked. Not because the pizza was exceptional, but because families in the 1980s wanted somewhere between McDonald's and actual fine dining. That sweet spot between fast food and proper restaurants was a goldmine in 1980s America. The country was emerging from recession, and middle-class families were looking for affordable indulgences that felt special without breaking the bank. Pizza Hut delivered exactly that balance. Their timing was perfect. As shopping malls expanded across suburban America, Pizza Hut offered complimentary experiences. A place where families could decompress after shopping, where mall employees could grab lunch, where teenagers could gather with minimal parental supervision. The red-roofed restaurants became part of the landscape of American consumerism. The introduction of the Book It program in 1984 was marketing genius, cementing Pizza Hut in childhood memories nationwide. By partnering with schools to reward reading with free pizzas, they created an entire generation of customers with emotional connections to the brand. For millions of Americans, Pizza Hut wasn't just food, it was a childhood achievement award. The food itself hit the perfect balance for 1980s tastes. It wasn't authentically Italian, but Americans weren't looking for authenticity, they wanted comfort. The pan pizza's buttery crust, generous cheese, and sweet sauce created a flavor profile that appealed to unsophisticated palates while still feeling like a proper meal rather than fast food. Even the pricing strategy was perfectly calibrated. Pizza Hut positioned itself as a special occasion that wouldn't require financial sacrifice. In an era before widespread credit card use, when most families operated on strict cash budgets, Pizza Hut represented attainable luxury, the ability to treat your family without financial guilt. Celebrity endorsements from stars like Ringo Starr and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles further elevated the brand beyond mere pizza. These weren't just commercials, they were cultural touchpoints that placed Pizza Hut firmly in the mainstream American consciousness. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, it was Pizza Hut that delivered to Gorbachev in a symbolic victory of American consumerism. This is not a story about bad pizza. It's a story about companies that mistake their business model for their identity. And once you see it, you'll start noticing it everywhere. Pizza Hut's fundamental error was confusing how they delivered value with what value they actually provided. They believed they were in the restaurant business when they were actually in the convenience food business. The dining rooms, The waitstaff, the stained glass were all delivery mechanisms for their core product, pizza that families could enjoy together. When technology and consumer preferences changed how people wanted that core product delivered, Pizza Hut could not adapt because they had built their entire identity around the delivery mechanism rather than the core value. They were not alone in this mistake. It is a pattern repeated across industries throughout business history. Blockbuster famously made the same error, believing they were in the retail store business rather than the home entertainment business. Kodak thought they were in the film business rather than the memory preservation business. Each failed to see that their distribution model was separate from their actual value proposition. Pizza Hut's decline wasn't inevitable. Had they recognized earlier that their true product was convenient family meals, not restaurant experiences, they might have pivoted more effectively toward delivery and carry-out models. Instead, they tried to preserve a business model that consumers were actively abandoning. By the time Pizza Hut did embrace delivery, they were playing catch-up to competitors who had spent decades perfecting the model. Their restaurant overhead made their operations less efficient, their prices less competitive, and their ability to invest in technology more limited. The company still exists today, but largely as a cautionary tale of what happens when organizations become too attached to how they do business, rather than why they exist in the first place. The red roofs have largely disappeared, replaced by express locations in strip malls. The dining rooms, where they still exist, feel like museums to a different era of American dining. What's particularly predictable about Pizza Hut's decline is how obvious the signs were: declining dine-in traffic, rising delivery demand, and changing family schedules. Organizational inertia and emotional attachment to their restaurant identity prevented the kind of radical transformation that might have saved them. Today, as we watch other industries face similar disruption, from retail to banking to healthcare, the Pizza Hut story offers a valuable lesson. Your business model is not your business. How you deliver value today may not be how you'll need to deliver value tomorrow. Organizations that confuse these concepts are destined to become tomorrow's case studies in failure. The next time you pass one of the few remaining red-roofed Pizza Hut buildings, many now repurposed as other businesses, remember that what you're seeing isn't just a restaurant. It's a monument to corporate identity crisis, a physical reminder that understanding what business you're really in might be the most important strategic question any company can answer. And as for the pizza itself, that's the final irony. In their quest to be a great restaurant, Pizza Hut forgot to keep making great pizza. By the time they realized their mistake, America had already moved on to the next slice.